if members of the Board of Education vote that you can't opt out. Cancel Christmas. If they vote that you, if they decide, based on this policy, if they decide that students in Southern Region Maplewood cannot opt out of the park based on the vote by the Board of Education.
Well, it's saying here that it's the policy of the board that the decision is not going to be your decision as a parent to opt out. You know, you're not going to be punished for opting out. But it does say that the state testing, among many, you know, is to ensure accountability, and the district itself is mandated by the state of New Jersey to provide
this
or
is double
administer
speak
this.
here as far as I'm concerned.
What do you mean?
It's mandated.
The district. I am told by my
this is not
supervisor
against-
to do
this-
something.
yeah.
No. But I understand it. I'm told by my supervisor to give this test. But if you, the student, don't show up for the test, you're not punished, right? But I have to do this. That's what they say. We have to do this, but we're not going to punish you if you don't go along with us. So, you know.
I guess it is the policy of the South Orange Board of Education that such parental decision should be met with educationally appropriate and non-punitive responses.
That's right.
What is educationally appropriate?
I guess we're going to find something for you to do while these other people are taking the test. Right. So, you know, we'll have other classes or study hall or maybe a field trip.
Okay, so, all right. So that means...
Have them take them to a field trip to Pearson. Yeah.
So that means it's a good thing then.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that means it's a good thing. That means is that they're thinking about, if you decide you're going to opt out, we're going to find a place for the kid educationally appropriate, and you don't have to...
But okay, let me get this clear. So it says at the top, policy number TBD, I guess to be determined.
Yeah.
So we don't know if this policy is in effect yet.
Well, no, the superintendent is directed to establish.
The second reading is on the 23rd with more discussion, and then they vote.
And this is why we want all these people to come out on the 23rd.
And so what's really important to understand is, again, last night after Mr. Eastman reads this policy and there's some discussion, it was Ms. Lawson Muhammad and Ms. Doherty who were most concerned about this becoming policy, right? And but even if their argument was because policy is it's policy, it's long term, it's not something that you can just go back in a couple of years and revise. So understanding that, their point was, even if this doesn't become policy, what has been done in the past is that again, parents proactively call in, my son or daughter is not going to sit or take the test, and then they find something else for them to do. Again, that circles us back around to that whole 95%. I think the board members that are opposed to this policy are opposed to it for that reason. It's about the money, and it's about this 95% participation rate, because if this goes out, and again, the people that we're talking about, especially folks of color in our community, who wants to take a test this year that's not going to impact graduation, it's not going to impact my level placement, etc. Why am I going to overtest my kid? It's 11th grade.
Spend 40 days
SATs, this year. PS. I mean, it's ridiculous. So yeah, I think that's my articulated goal is try and get as many of my students' parents and other parents throughout the district, to come to this meeting on the 23rd. So, but thanks, Anselm. I didn't know that this was actually up on the.
Yeah. I mean, to me is that it just kind of bothers me though, and let me just digress a little bit here. Is there statistics that shows the kids that are promoted from one level to another level? Does Columbia High School does the Board of Education keep any statistics to show that in 2013 we had 500 kids, as an example, 100 kids in level 1. Of those 100 kids, 20 was promoted to level 2. We had 300 kids in level 2. Of those 300, 10 was promoted to level 3. In level 3, we had X amount
So
of
your
promoted.
question is, does that exist?
Does
Those
that
numbers-
kind of statistics exist?
I believe so. I think, and I think most recently, due to
By
the-
ethnicity or by race or just general?
And
no,
gender
I
should
think
be
I
considered.
think by race and gender, and most recently, have you seen the ACLU and the Office of Civil Rights?
Yes.
Office of Civil Rights Agreement. Within those, there are similar statistics that you're talking about. Can
Okay.
be found within the Office of Civil Rights document. But as a part of their investigation, that's the type of information that they've been looking for.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at their report, and I'm going to look at it again. But I think these are the type of numbers that we need to know in this community for transparency and accountability.
Well, this is what the diversity consultant or whatever that new job is supposed to be.
Well, actually, the Board of Ed hired an equity consultant to
the
address
SAGE
discrimination.
people, or the one that they were talking
Yeah, the
about?
South Orange Maple Board of Education approved a resolution last night awarding $78,500 contract over a 3-year period to Sage Educational Consultant of Maplewood, New Jersey.
$78,000 for 3
Wait.
years or each year?
Wait, let's get this correct. Sage Educational Consultant of Maplewood, New Jersey. Is that correct?
Well, that's what you're reading. I'm not looking at it, but go ahead.
Okay, Sage Educational Consultant of Maplewood, New Jersey. The resolution 33246P states that the contract is for educational equity consultant services. The hiring of an equity consultant was made as part of an agreement reached over a complaint filed with the U.S. Department of Education Office of Civil Rights. The consultant will work to help the district address the underrepresentation of African American students in the high-level classes identified in the complaint. The contract runs from February the 1st to December 30, 2017 in 3 phases. Phase 1 is February 1st, 2015 to December 31st, 2015 for $25,000. Phase 2, January 1, 2016 to December 30, 2016 for $25,000. Phase 3, January 1, 2017 through December 30, 2017 for $25,000. Additional services associated with discipline equity will cost $3,500. The resolution stated that a request for proposal was issued on December 22, 2014 and returned on January 15. 15 copies of the RFP was requested by external parties and 11 employees requested a copy. The school district received 3 proposals. Sage Educational Consultants, $78,500. Retu Pancholi, $130,000. And Poland Associates Educational Specialists Limited Liability Corporation, $385,400. $699,900 alternate.
So what are these
proposal.
other consultants for? We don't know that.
No, they applied.
Oh, those are the other bids.
Yeah, those are the other bids. Yeah, they applied.
And
yeah.
so they went for the cheapest one? Yes? Okay.
Well, yeah, according to the numbers.
Yeah. The resolution states.
That sounds crazy. That sounds amazing.
The resolution states the process includes a request for proposal followed by interviews. Interviews were held on January 22nd, 2015. The proposal were rated on advertised criteria, and the panel agreed upon Sage Educational Consultants. The proposal were rated on advertised criteria, and the panel agreed upon Sage Educational Consultants. Board of Education President Wayne Eastman reported that Thelma Ramsey is a principal in Sage. Isn't that the woman who they had hired, who's supposed to be a vice principal? I'll look it up. Thelma Ramsey is the principal in Sage, according to Lincoln. Ramsey is a Maplewood resident, and here we go, an assistant principal in East Orange School District. The resolution was passed unanimously without discussion as part of a package of action items on board agenda.
All right, so there's something to investigate. Wow, 78,000 for 3 years.
What you see, when we talk about transparency and accountability, this is part of the problems that we have with the Board of Education.
Where's the problem at in there? What problem is it that you see in there?
And we are just reading the article. Maybe there is other document. There is other documents. That year, how much days work does that person require to do? Is that person required to put in a weekly service? How many hours? I'm sure.
It may not be about hours. It might be about product instead. So,
a product? What do you mean?
I will generate a report that says A, B, C, D, and E, and F.
All right. Suppose you take a month to generate a report in 2015. That's it.
You still get paid.
Then you're done.
Yeah. That's what is like piecemeal. I don't know what the word for that is.
The
agreement.
I wouldn't think that.
The agreement is there are markers, right? So by certain dates, certain steps have to be taken, and so over the 3-year period, I believe the consultant is there to kind of monitor, right, and just and keep
So
an
it's
eye on a number of actions that the district has to take, in terms of whether, I don't know if it's curriculum, personnel, programming, policy, et cetera, but to make sure that they kind of follow through on what they agree to. They're going to have this monitor. So maybe.
So, what do you think that they're going to find, TJ? What might a consultant find in our district?
You want me to tell you what he can find?
Yeah.
I can tell you.
Are you going to let Anselm tell you?
Yeah, I mean, he's a teacher. I don't have to tell you what they'll find. You should know what they'll find. Why you got to ask him to tell you that?
What are they going to find, Anselm?
This is what they're going to find. Going to Columbia High School, and you can figure out which tracks are the lower tracks and which tracks are the higher tracks. I don't need a consultant to tell me that. All I need is some good, nice glasses, and you need a door with a window in it, and I could tell you. All right? I could look at the AP classes, all right, and I can listen. This consultant stuff, this is garbage, really. This consultant is going to come back with the same thing that we've been talking in this district for the past 10 or more years. They're not going to come back with anything different. As I say, what? Plain talk, bad manners. They don't come back with anything different. So why are we paying them $78,500 for? You know what? TJ, I could have paid you $30,000 and I give you 2 weeks and you could come back with what Columbia High School or the school district needs to do regarding education in this district. I mean, come on. They're trying to make this into like rocket science. Listen, they should pay me half of that. Let me do it. I'll do a report for you in a month.
You should have put a proposal in, bro.
I should have. A month. And you know what? I work by myself.
I'm sure that assistant principal from East EO is working by herself, too.
She's the principal of the company. Well, at least we give it to a person from Maplewood. Yeah, we
so you can pay those taxes.
Yeah. We keeping the business in the family. So this is the thing that bothers the hell out of me, man. And in addition to that, right? You see, Walter Fiesner wrote an article, and you see the guy talked about the article. Mm-hmm. Why does the school system have to wait for Walter Fields to go do something in order for them to act? Why don't you be proactive and do things rather than waiting for something to happen and then be reactionary?
Because the institutions are the institutions reinforce themselves, right? They're not going to, and investigate themselves in a way where they have to, make substantive change. And so, the institution is built to, kind of reinforce the racism, the class discrimination, the white supremacy, if you will. And so that, like, for example, you wouldn't, if they didn't hire a consultant, do you think the district, if it had to investigate itself, would come back, and say, oh, we're racist, we're